Hi, it's Ra, Rishi Kavi Raghudas from Star Presence Astrology, here to give the astrological forecast for Monday, February 16th, 2026. Well, it's the day before the big solar eclipse tomorrow. The eclipse is at 28 degrees, 50 minutes of Aquarius, almost to the very last degree, 29 degrees of unconventional, often visionary, sometimes just strange and weird. I've got my tie-dye tie here on to celebrate the unconventionality of Aquarius, just defiant and rebellious, but ultimately humanitarian-oriented. It's the air sign of Aquarius, Aquarius. Well, today is the day before that eclipse, and traditionally the week, but certainly the day before a big eclipse, is particularly volatile. And that is doubly the case today, because while the sun is at 27, moving to 28 degrees of Aquarius, it is exactly square, making a hard 90-degree angle to Uranus, the planet of sudden change, often chaos, freedom from the known, which happens to be Aquarius's ruling planet. That occurs during the pre-dawn hours exactly, but it's still in effect all day. So, yeah, this is one of those days to just breathe and stay as steady as you can be, because the energy is kind of shaken right here today. Now, the moon is also moving, of course, through Aquarius, through the mid to late degrees of Aquarius, because it's the new moon tomorrow. So in addition to all of the rest of it, this is the dark of the moon, traditionally a very tough period. It's a good idea today to try to finish up things as best you can, projects, situations with people, all like this, because it's the close of the cycle. The new lunar cycle begins tomorrow under the eclipse, the new moon. Now, the moon itself today makes a couple of tough aspects as well until the afternoon into the evening, when things get a little better. The first aspect is the moon at 16 degrees of Aquarius in an awkward angle, the 150-degree inconjunct angle that I call adapt, adjust, accommodate, to Jupiter, the planet of good fortune and expansion, which is at 16 degrees of Cancer. But that simply says I may have to rethink my goals and my situation first thing in the morning. 4:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when that's exact. 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 12:15 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And if that weren't enough, the moon at 19 degrees of Aquarius during the midday period, here, at least here in the United States, evening elsewhere, conjoins Mars, the planet of energy but often conflict, at 19 degrees of Aquarius. So we're not looking at a particularly peaceful day so far. That occurs exactly at 10:09 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:09 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. The day is likely to get your goat if you're not careful, so breathe and stay steady. Here's the good news. Mercury, the planet of communication, today is at 15 or 16 degrees of Pisces, which is nice and sentimental and connective kind of energy. So that is Mercury in a water sign, connecting through feelings. And today it's in a harmonious flowing trine to Jupiter at 15, 16 degrees of Cancer. That's nice and smooth. So there's a saving grace to the day, which says clarity and communication will save the day if you're able to think clearly and communicate clearly today. 1:31 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when that's exact. 4:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9:31 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. In the evening, the moon at 22 degrees of Aquarius makes a harmonious 60-degree sextile to Chiron, called the Wounded Healer, at 22 degrees of Aries. That's nice. That's good for doing holistic practices, self-integration, and healing. So this is good. 6:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 4:20 p.m. That would be 9:20. I'm hard to read here. 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 2:20 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So a bumpy day, gets better as it goes on, but breathe and stay steady. I'm Ra, Rishi Kavi Raghudas from Star Presence Astrology. Hey, if you'd like to have a personal reading with me, it's still early 2026. We can look at what's coming up for you. You can book it on my website, starpresence.net. Remember, from the very moment that you're born, you've got star presence. Enjoy today, no matter what. Breathe and stay steady.